Good morning, everybody, to our witnesses. Dr. Verma, do you not have other prostacyclin drugs to treat postpartum hemorrhage like Prostin M? Is that the only drug that's out there that works?
We have a few medications to treat postpartum hemorrhage, and when I am in situations where someone's...
I know what you're saying. I delivered a baby every day for 30 years. I know your situation, but there are other alternatives out there. No one here is trying to take those away. These abortion drugs, Category A drugs are safe, B are probably safe, C. What type of category drug are these prostaglandin drugs that you prescribe?
In Louisiana now, they have been made controlled substances, and I would like to highlight when I'm in a situation with a postpartum hemorrhage, yes, there are other medications.
We'll let you answer that later on someone else's time. I'm sorry, but you would agree with me that these prostaglandin drugs are Category X drugs. The answer is yes. They are Category X drugs. Okay. Dr. Walbenhurst, did I get that right? Okay. I think, like you, delivered a baby every day of my life for 30 years, nearly every day for 30 years. A woman comes in for her first visit, and she tells you when her last menstrual cycle was. It's pretty common for them to be off. In fact, it's very common to be off about a month. Would not be unusual. Would you agree with that?
Yes, Dr. Marshall, and actually I would add to that I recently had a woman come in because she was having some bleeding and abdominal pain, and she was 23 weeks and didn't know it, and that was
very common. We've all had that patient in the ER with abdominal pain 5 minutes apart, and they getting ready to do an appendicitis on her. They call in the OBs, oh my gosh, she's having a baby. I think you would also agree with me, doctor, that the failure rate of these abortion drugs is probably around 5% at less than 10 weeks. But the failure rate of giving it to a 14-week person over the phone, the failure rate is probably 10%. Failure rate meaning it doesn't work, right? Would an ultrasound, not only seeing the patient in person, but having an ultrasound at your helm there impact your decision making? And you and I don't prescribe these abortion drugs, but taking care of a miscarriage is similar. You and I have taken care of thousands of miscarriages. Would you add any color to that?
Yes, I would say that there would be a substantial change. That's because once you get into the second trimester, the risk of hemorrhage increases dramatically.
Let me tell you something right now. This hearing exposed everything the abortion industry and its political protectors don't want you to hear.
Yeah, so my point is, you do this visit over the phone, the young lady thinks she's 8 weeks, and I have so much compassion for these young ladies. They're scared and they need help, and that's why I opened up my practice, regardless of your ability to pay, to say, look, I had more than one patients come into my office that said they'd been to Planned Parenthood and they were being coerced into abortion, and she came to my office and said, is there anything else we can do, doctor? Do I have to have an abortion? And I said, of course, we'll take care of you. We're going to get you hooked up with Catholic Social Services, and we're going to get you a medical card. We're going to do whatever it takes. But my point is this. That same patient calls me from home or just goes to the pharmacy and picks this drug up. They think they're 10 weeks, but they're actually 14 weeks. There's a 10% chance of this drug not working. And the risk factors associated with this X-rated drug, I'm going to have to read them because I didn't realize this. 5% of the babies that go on to deliver that took this drug, 5% of them have a major fetal malformation, limb deformities. So it's like they're missing fingers, they're missing digits. Cranial nerve palsies. Think of like Bell's palsy, you can't open your eyelids, you can't smile. Cranial nerve palsies, cranial facial defects, and of course premature births. Doctor, I'm going to come back to you. Do you think an ultrasound, seeing the patient in person, is beneficial and safe, and not doing so is below the standard of care?
I would agree with that, and I'd also add that ACOG in its committee opinion says that any pregnancy that is not dated by ultrasound is suboptimally dated.
Yeah. Dr. Verma, you take care of ladies with miscarriage, and I'm sorry for your loss as well. It's one of my just worst days is taking care of a woman with a miscarriage. Do you do ultrasounds typically when a person comes to your office for a threatened miscarriage?
I do ultrasounds in a lot of different settings, including when a patient is unsure of their last menstrual period and
but do you can you? I'm sorry, I know you're kind of been coached to go offline here, but do you do an ultrasound on every patient that comes to your office with a threatened miscarriage to figure out how far along they are?
I do ultrasounds, again, in many different situations. I think the misinformation here is that when a patient comes
Dr.
in for
Walpenhurst, do you do
abortion
ultrasounds when patients
care,
come to your office with a threatened miscarriage?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Dr. Verma, last question. Would an ultrasound and seeing the patient in person be helpful to you in making the determination of whether you would prescribe these abortion pills?
when a patient is unsure about their last menstrual period, we do connect them with ultrasound. What's limiting their ability to get that ultrasound is abortion bans and restrictions in their communities.
You don't have an ultrasound in your office?
In situations where patients are getting
Do you
care
have an
through
ultrasound in your office?
because you're talking about telehealth care.
I think
So
the
if a
answer is
patient's
yes.
getting care through telehealth, we would
Telehealth,
connect them.
taking care of ectopic pregnancies, threatened miscarriages, prescribing abortion pills is below the standard of care. You're putting women's lives at danger.
Senator Roger Marshall walks in with 30 years of real-world OB experience, and what does he get back? Deflection, word games, bureaucratic talking points. Typical. Let's be clear. Postpartum hemorrhage has multiple treatments. No one is banning life-saving care. That lie has been pushed nonstop to scare women and silence doctors. Marshall dismantles that myth in under 5 minutes. Then comes the bombshell. The same prostaglandin drugs being handed out like candy through abortion pill mills are FDA Category X. That's not conservative opinion. That's federal classification. Category X means known risk of serious harm, period. And here's the part that should terrify every woman watching. Pregnancy dating is often wrong. Doctors admit it, patients admit it. Women think they're 8 or 10 weeks and turn out to be 14, 20, even 23 weeks pregnant. That's not rare, that's common. Now imagine this. No exam, no ultrasound, no doctor in the room, just a telehealth call and a dangerous drug shipped to your door. That's not health care, that's reckless abandonment. Marshall lays it out plainly. The failure rate jumps, hemorrhage risk skyrockets, and when the drugs fail, babies who survive suffer missing limbs, nerve damage, facial deformities, and premature birth. And somehow we're supposed to pretend that's safe. Even the doctors admit it. Ultrasounds matter. ACOG admits it. Medicine admits it. You don't prescribe serious drugs blindly unless abortion politics are involved. And then comes the final insult, blaming abortion bans for lack of ultrasounds. No accountability, no ownership. Just more excuses while women bleed and lives are put at risk. Here's the truth they won't say. Telehealth abortion is below the standard of care. Category X drugs without exams are dangerous, and pretending otherwise is political malpractice. Thank God for senators willing to say what the medical cartel won't. Women deserve better than ideology disguised as health care. If this made you angry, good, it should have. The truth doesn't survive unless we push it. Smash like, subscribe, and share this everywhere, because the media won't. Stay loud, stay informed, stay unapologetic.